Coming live from the HPU Esports Arena, powered by DSC Hawaii on the Hawaii Pacific University campus at Aloha Tower Marketplace, here's your host, Hawaii Pacific University's Vice President and Chief Marketing Communications Officer, Jeffrey Rich.
What's up, everyone? My name is Jeff Rich. I'm just kidding. It's Marcus Dawal, your Sports Information Director here, and today I'm with the members of the men's and women's cross country team at HPU. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves and also give your favorite place to run on the island.
Ooh, hi, my name is Maya Pompel. I'm a sophomore now. My favorite place to run on the island is probably in Turtle Bay on North Shore.
Okay.
Cool. My name is Ken Glover. I'm a senior at HPU, and my favorite place to run is probably Sandy's Beach.
Hi guys, I'm Angel Aviles, a sophomore as well. My favorite place to run is Kaka'ako.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I probably only ran at Turtle Bay back in 2021 for the Pac West Championships, and I did absolutely terrible. Oh my gosh. I think that was probably the hardest place for me to ever run in my life. I just remember Patrick Kiprop from Fresno Pacific absolutely just dominated on that course.
Yeah, that guy killed it.
Yeah, I think he's at Arkansas now, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But so you guys just wrapped up your season at Fresno Pacific at the cross country championships. Would you guys give a quick little rundown of how that went for each of you?
For me, it went really well. I didn't get to travel last year, so it was a really cool experience to, go with this team that's basically your family and live in the same hotel for 5 days. But my race was really good. It was a I wouldn't say difficult course, but it definitely wasn't easy. So yeah, it was good for me. Thanks.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I had some exercise-induced asthma issues during the race, so it wasn't the race that I wanted, but I was still able to finish and place second on the team and score some points for us. But definitely not my best race. Like Maya said, it wasn't the hardest course, but man, those hills, they hurt going around that loop 3 times.
For me, I had a great race. I PR'd. Because last year I had a horrible conference race and basically crawled to the finish line. Didn't quit, but I finished. So it was overall a really great race for me.
That's awesome. So I know this year you guys didn't have a full-time head coach, and I mean I had that experience too during COVID. My coach Preston Gray, he left in the middle of the pandemic, and there was probably about 4 or 5 months where we were just training on our own, and I can imagine how hard it was this season to go through that by yourselves. And so just give me like a rundown, like just how that brought you guys closer as a team and how you guys overcame that.
It was really hard in the beginning. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And Jackie had told us, our previous head coach had told us, like, you need to stick together. But it was really hard in the beginning. You don't have a coach. You don't really have anyone to organize you except for, like captains on the team. But the freshmen that are coming in are like, why are we trusting these guys? Like, we don't know them. So it was hard, but we definitely got through it. I think we're stronger now. So
yeah, definitely, we're a super close team. It's like Maya said, we're family. So going into this season, we knew that we had to stick together no matter what, and we really all had that mindset of like, we are here to do this, and we are sticking together as friends, as teammates, and we got it done.
For me personally, it was a bit of a struggle throughout the entire season just because I didn't have that support system that I wanted from a head coach that you would get. I mean, we did have our assistant coaches or people who would come and like help us. They were super helpful in giving us that support system, but I mean, I still struggled trying to grasp not having a coach, and I feel like if I would have had a coach, I definitely would have had a more great season.
Yeah. And so, like you said about creating like a support system, how would you guys create a support system like off the field, like hanging out together, team activities? Like, what do you guys do outside of cross country?
So I'm the men's team captain, so I would kind of organize events for the whole team. So like for preseason, we had dinners for like 2 weeks straight. We would always meet every single day. We would get like Costco pizza and go to the beach for dinner, or go to Olive Garden or something. So we were always doing stuff, always having fun around the island, going to the beaches, just kind of exploring, showing the new people around, just to kind of get everyone together and have that sense of camaraderie.
Oh, just about stuff you guys did to build team culture.
I'll let you go. I gotta think about this.
Okay, cool. We had a cross country manager this year, so we didn't have a head coach, but our manager, Jen, was great. We all love her. She's been really helpful. So we also have an assistant coach, Maggie. They've been really great in helping plan things, and obviously we try to plan things that everyone can go to, that doesn't interfere with like work or class. Do you know what I mean? So that was kind of difficult, but we had enough where at least someone could go to at least one of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that helped a lot, having a manager and a coach. So we weren't completely alone. And then we're all kind of friends anyway. So we're a super small team. I think on both, we have like less than 20 people on both teams combined. So we're pretty close in general. So that helps. And a lot of us are the same major, so we actually see each other in a lot of classes. So yeah, I would say we're a super close team, and it's not super hard to plan bondings.
Yeah, no, and like you said, just no, Jenny's, I mean, getting to work with her with doing you guys' senior day, I mean, the amount of work she puts in is just amazing. I sent her an email, I'm like, hey, like, wasn't an ideal situation, but I mean, I admire how much she cared for you guys and how much like stuff she did, even for that last meet, that home meet where you both popped off. But yeah, I mean, the stuff she did, I mean, she was working probably day and night all that week to make sure you guys had a great event. So big shout out to her. And yeah, I mean, I know, Kent, you're from Maine, so that was when I remember filling out your bio. I was like, are you from Maine, right?
No, I'm from Alabama.
I got Alabama. I get you and Carly mixed up. My bad. But so you're all the way from Alabama. So how is that move from Alabama all the way to Hawaii?
It's very, very different. I get asked about it all the time.
Yeah.
So coming from the deep South, I was born in Tennessee, raised in Alabama and Florida. So I've been in the deep South my entire life before coming out here. Running there is super competitive. The coaching there is very old school. So coming here and seeing a bunch of different perspectives and different coaching strategies, and it's just very, very different overall. And the culture. I mean, I really do miss the Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
But on the island, there's a sense of aloha, and that's really nice. So it sort of makes up for that missing piece of Southern hospitality.
Yeah. And as someone that's new to the running community here in Hawaii, how would each of you describe the running scene here?
It's not super big. I would say it's not.
It's connected. So like, there's Kaka'ako Run Club, Honolulu Run Club, Kailua Run Club. There's.
Oh, that's what it was.
So the running community here, it's pretty well connected. A lot of the higher level runners will plan events just like on their own, and like some of me and my teammates have gone to those and have worked out with some of the high level runners, and it's cool to see them at community races as well.
I would say the Hawaii teams are pretty close too. I mean, I guess it's just us and Chaminade, but like every time we go and see them at races, yeah. Sometimes we'll see Hilo. Yeah, Hilo will travel here a lot. But we're pretty close to them, so that's pretty connected, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you guys do like long runs together?
We can't practice together.
Oh yeah, you can't practice, yeah.
But yeah, so we just see them during races. And
yeah, we've done some flybys on long runs and just kind of caught up. But
yeah, but that's dope. So, you know, we only have a cross country program, you know, in the fall. But so my biggest question is, so what does spring look like for you guys usually?
So usually in the past, spring would be mostly road races, 5K, 10K, and hopefully we would be able to get on a track and either do a scrimmage against Chaminade, or University of Hawaii Manoa used to host track meets, and so we used to be able to enter into those. I think that Tim, the UH coach, said that they were going to be able to do some races there this spring. They're getting their track fixed, so hopefully we can sign up for some unattached races there and get some faster races in, but usually it's just 5K, 10K road races.
Yeah. And so, you know, as a former APU athlete, you know, just coming here, you know, we have regionals coming up, and you know, it's fun to see APU do great, and you know, we went through a total rebuild, as you guys are looking to the future, what's your goals for next season as you build off of this season?
Well, definitely to go to regionals. I mean, it'd be awesome to go and get the opportunity to run a 10K, because I've never done a 10K, and I think given the opportunity to do that, I think I would surprise some people and surprise myself.
I don't know, just get better. I mean, I think each collegiate season for me has been a surprise. I didn't have a great season last year, but this year was better, so I'd say next year I just get better, get closer to some teammates, and say goodbye to some of them.
Yeah, so this is sadly my last semester at HPU, so I won't be with y'all next year, but I hope that y'all make a huge difference and get faster and go kick some butt.
Yeah. Okay, are we taking a break? Okay, so we'll be right back after a quick break, but first we'd like to thank Duke's Hawaii, Waikiki, an iconic establishment in Waikiki. Duke's Waikiki celebrates an atmosphere that encompasses surfing, the spirit of Hawaii, and live music on the beach. Back to Sharks Weekly, sponsored by Hula Grill, taking a fiery sunset while savoring the vibrant flavors of the island. I'm your host, Marcus Dawal, and speaking of food, I just moved here, I'd say 5 weeks ago, and so honestly, the only place I've gone really to eat is 7-Eleven, and so I need your guys' help. Where should I go on the island to eat that's affordable, that won't put me in debt, because rent's high here, so something that won't break the bank, but something that'll fill my stomach.
Oh my God, I love to eat. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would say that we're runners. Us athletes love to eat. My roommate and I have been obsessed with Marugame udon. We just get it because we live close to 4th Street, right? It's down the street. Stordo's is actually really good. I don't know if you've been there. They have sandwiches. It's literally like right around the block.
Okay.
It's so good. Like, they have no business being that good. But yeah, I would say that's like my top.
My favorite place to eat, this is not sponsored, but Waffle and Berry. I've eaten there almost like every week for the past 3 years. They have the best acai bowls on the island, and I will stand for that until I die.
He goes so often that the owners know him and give him a hug now every time that he walks in.
Hey, I've watched them grow. They've moved like 4 different times, and each time I've just followed them along.
They've watched you grow too.
Oh. I like this place called Chubby's. It's a burger place. It's like the equivalent of In-N-Out.
Oh yeah. Did you guys get In-N-Out when you went to Fresno?
No.
We didn't actually. I don't think.
Oh, my bad.
I can step in here, by the way, just to give a secondary recommendation for Chubby's, because that's probably a 5-10 minute drive away from my place. This is Paul Brecht for all you beautiful people watching on YouTube wondering where this voice is coming from. I can also give Chubby's a little shout out if you're a burger guy, because it's one of those like classic, almost like an 80s burger style, like it's super really greasy.
They have good milkshakes too.
Oh yes, the milkshakes are up there. So I guess that's a second vote for Chubby's.
Yeah, it's because like, what was it, on Monday I went to Rainbows, and all my friends from back home were like, "You're so basic, bro."
I've actually never been to Rainbows.
Neither have I.
It's pretty good. I like the vibe of it, the little drive-in atmosphere, but yeah, I'm definitely trying to broaden my horizons a little bit. This week it's just been all like fast food chains like McDonald's and 7-Eleven and just, but I'll definitely take all your recommendations to heart. And and so we're talking during the break, we got people from Alabama, Florida, and California, and I'm from California as well. So how's that adjustment been from off the island to moving here?
Personally, I'm from California. It hasn't been awful compared to someone, I don't know, probably like Angel's from Florida. That's like a 10-hour flight nonstop if you're lucky to get a nonstop without 3 hour-and-a-half layovers. So it's pretty relatively easy for me to fly back home if I need to.
Yeah.
And it's not too different from here. So for me, it's been a little easier. Obviously, it's a little rough in the beginning adjusting to a new place, but I'd say for me it was relatively easier than other people.
Well, because I come from a big family. I'm one of 11 siblings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of sort of hard not to have my family here because I love them very much. So in the beginning, it was a struggle to adjust and just not have all those screaming kids in the background. But over time, I think I've gotten used to it. It's definitely a lot hotter in Florida. So here it is cooler. It's not as humid. I don't feel like I'm boiling every day.
Oh, wow. I feel like I'm just probably losing 8 pounds of sweat every time I walk from Aloha Tower to 4th Street. So, but I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. It's definitely like, it's not too different from California. Definitely feel like living in a small town, basically.
It definitely feels a lot smaller.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. And the hospitality here and like the community here. I love it so far, and just I think like I can't tell you how many times like just some random strangers help me out in some awesome way, and like I mean so far I love it here, and I'm excited to be here. But so back I'm just so hungry right now, so I'm thinking about food. But so before your races, what do you guys eat? So I had a terrible diet when I was a cross country runner. I'd say, I'd be eating like 2 double doubles the night before a race, fries, large Dr. Pepper if I was feeling a little crazy. But what would do you guys eat a lot before your races or the morning of? The morning of, I'd eat like 3 peanut butter sandwiches too. I was just always so hungry, dude.
Gosh. So before my races, I'm actually not allowed to eat because every time I do eat, I always either throw up during the race or right after the race. So my teammate Tyler always like watches me like a hawk before the race to make sure I don't stuff anything or scarf anything down real quick.
I eat a lot before a race too. I'm like one of those runners where if I don't eat anything, then like I don't have any energy. So yeah, my go-to is usually like a bagel, like plain bagel, no cream cheese, like an hour and a half before the race, which I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, you can't do that, but I need to do that. So
yeah, I also eat a lot the day before. So like we always get like pasta or like Panera the day before a race, and that's really nice. And I'll like have a bunch of snacks and then like dessert for dinner. Yeah. And then the morning of, I try to keep it light. So just like maybe just like one protein bar or like a piece of bread or something.
Yeah. And I like speaking of cross country, like I feel like people don't really have like a great understanding. I mean, it's not as covered as a sport. And so what would you say is like the biggest misconception about your sport?
That it's easy. That it's easy because it's not easy.
No, it's not easy at all.
That it's not a contact sport, because it definitely is a contact sport.
I don't know. Probably that it's like the cheapest sport.
Oh,
it's definitely not.
yeah.
Like just little things. Like even I was buying socks the other day, $15 a pair. I think that's crazy. I don't know. And they're good socks, but $15 for a pair of socks is kind of crazy. And our shoes are expensive, and luckily we don't have to pay that anymore because there's a budget for that. But in high school, it'd be like every 3 to 4 months, $150 on new shoes.
Oh yeah.
$200 just for training.
Yeah, I mean like the carbon fiber racing shoes are $260 at least, so pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, carbon fiber shoes, they're probably $20 a mile. I remember every time I used them, I'd like cringe so hard because I'm like, dude, if I go like do like a 3-mile workout, that's like $60-$80 down the drain right there. And so I mean, I kept my same like Next Percents. Shout out to my ex for giving me those for like 2 years, because I mean those things are it is an expensive sport, and I think like if I did let's say the pros and cons of sport. Pros, I feel like cross country. I played different sports growing up: basketball, football, baseball, but I've never gotten as close as with my teammates as I did in cross country, because I feel like just the amount of suffering you do together just brings you closer to a whole nother level. And so I think that was my favorite part of cross country. What's been your favorite part, Ken, as you're closing out your career here?
Yeah, definitely that trauma bond gets you real close with your teammates. But my favorite part about being on this team for all these years has really just been the community. It's been the alumni, the friends that I've made, the connections that I made with coaches and the people here. At our races here on Island, we'll always have some alumni come out and support, and that's really nice. And we're just still connected. We'll have alumni come visit the island, or alumni that have moved off island like Texas, New York, come back and see us and hang out with us and run with us. So it's really nice to have that sense of community, and we always have fun here. We always go explore. We've been all around the island, Turtle Bay, Kahuku, Kaena Point, Makapu, wherever you think to run on this island, we've all ran there together. So it's a really cool experience, really great memories. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so what's your guys' least favorite part? My least favorite part, I was always a track guy. I mean, cross country, I liked it, but I was more of a track guy. But cross country, the thing that I dreaded more wasn't the race, it was the cool down. Like literally, like when my coach like, hey, 2-mile cool down, you might as well just like punch me in the gut, because oh my gosh, I probably, like, if you go back to my Strava, for those that don't know what Strava is, Strava's like Instagram for running. But if you go to my Strava, you see my cooldown, it's probably like 10-minute, 13-minute pace. 10-minute pace at the fastest, 13-minute pace, because I'd be just kind of like a little bit like shuffling, because oh my gosh, I hated cooldowns.
Really? I'm a high mileage guy, so I love a long cooldown. 4 or 5 miles, just chilling.
Gosh. Yeah.
It's so nice.
That's where I cut it. Usually, for me, I don't like the cooldown either. I kind of sort of be like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and just don't ever come back.
I don't know. You guys said cool down. I was thinking like mile repeats kind of suck.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It has ups and downs. That's definitely a down. When you're running and you just feel like you want to die, yeah, that's a pretty big down. Like you have to like always remind yourself like I'm doing this for the greater good. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely a mental sport. Like it is physical, but I feel like it's 90% mental, and you just have to break those barriers in your mind, because like your mind will tell you that you're tired, but your body isn't really tired yet. So like your body can keep going more further than your mind can. So you just got to break that barrier, and once you do, you got to overcome another one.
Oh yeah. And speaking of mental, what goes through you guys' mind when you're racing? Because I remember like vividly 2 years ago at Kahuku for a conference, I think it was on the backstretch, and I think it was like 3 miles in, and I was just kept looking over the edge of the shore. I'm like, would anyone be mad if I just ran into that ocean right now?
No, that's definitely a common thought on that course specifically. But for me, it depends on the race. But if I'm in a competitive race, there was our race on Hilo this year on Big Island. Me and Mason from Chaminade were back and forth the entire time, passing each other and just fighting for that top spot. And so that whole time I was just thinking, just sit on his shoulder. And that last mile I just gapped him, and that was the best feeling. So really just thinking about like, okay, staying on this guy's shoulder, getting to the next person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would say definitely just keeping your eyes on the person in front of you and seeing if you can close that gap. And if you're closing that gap, like, okay, like I can't just close the gap now, like I have to pass them. And when you pass them, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna pass you. No, like you have to like gas it, right? Because then if you don't, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna pass them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just keeping your eyes on the person in front of you and focusing on form. I've noticed I do that a lot. I'll be like, okay, like is my breathing okay? Okay, like get that down. How do my arms look? Good. Okay, like let's go to my legs, like let's increase my cadence now. Do you know what I mean? And it helps when like people are cheering you on, because you don't want to look bad.
No. I usually before a race, if anyone's like, what do you want me to say to you during your race, I always like say I look like I'm running slow, say I look like I'm walking, because it actually helps me. And when I run by somebody, I was like, oh gosh, now I gotta look fast, so so I gotta pick up the speed and go. I usually before my race, because like I get panic attacks and I get scared, so I always like during my race I'm not allowed to think, so I just like feel like I just shut my mind off when I run now, because last year when I didn't do that, I would have not great races.
Yeah. And so as I mentioned earlier, a little mention about Strava. Are any of you guys on Strava?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am.
So I treat Strava like when I did run, I think the last time I ran was like from my house to 24-hour fitness. I was like, that was like half a mile. So I think that was more to announce people that I moved. But Strava, I treat Strava, I mean, obviously to log my runs, but I treat it like a spam account. Like all my pictures, like that I don't post on Instagram, or like any like mini rant I need to do, I just do it on, like, gives me a reason to work out. I'm like, hey dude, like I need to vent about something, like I guess I got to go run. But how do you guys utilize Strava in your own like personal lives?
anything goes on Strava for me. So I haven't been running since I've been injured since conference. So I'm getting back into the weight room, getting strength back. And so every time I'm in the weight room, every time I'm on the bike, I'm always posting something. Even like when we were out Halloween night, like walking down Waikiki, like I posted that. So
I seen that one.
So yeah, just kind of anything and everything that I do.
Okay. We'll be right back after a quick break, but first we'd like to thank Bank of Hawaii, who is a proud supporter of Hawaii Pacific University Athletics and the only local bank owned by America's most trusted companies by Newsweek. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Weekly, oh my gosh, sponsored by Giovanni Pastrami. Giovanni Pastrami, Waikiki's premier sports bar. I'm back with HPU Cross Country as we talk about our season, our favorite food, and just running in general. And man, we're talking about different sports we did growing up, because not everyone starts off as a cross country runner. We all have our different paths, except for, I guess, Maya. You did cross country just straight ahead. But I mean, growing up, I played different sports, and then, once I got to high school, I thought, I'm going to be a football player. And, the freshman year just got knocked around. I probably had like 2 concussions. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll try track, and then, be like, hey, like cross country, it's good conditioning for track. And that's how I got into cross country. But how did each of you get into cross country?
So that's actually a really funny story. So growing up, I lived in a cul-de-sac. So every morning I would catch the bus and I would be late. Every morning you would see me running from my house, sprinting down the road, making the bus. And so in middle school, that happened one morning and I barely made the bus. Like I was sprinting my heart out for probably like 400 meters at least. And once I made it to the bus, one of these kids said, "Oh, you should join the cross country team." And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And that's what got me on cross country. And here I am.
Still late.
9 years later, still late all the time, but making it.
Well, I started off in elementary. I started off doing football, and then when we moved to Florida, I just stopped. So then I did soccer, and then I moved on to baseball, and I absolutely hated baseball. And my cousin, actually, she was like trying to get people to join a cross country team because our cross country team was dying at our high school. And so I was like, okay, I'll join. I didn't know what cross country was. I didn't know it was long distance. I thought it was track, just like everyone else does.
Yeah.
And I have to thank her for that, because without her getting me to join the team, I would not be sitting here.
I just started cross country in high school. I wasn't a sports kid. I didn't do a sport until I was in high school. So I was a music kid. And I only did cross country because I knew that I wanted to be a part of a sports team. I don't really remember why, to be honest. And I was like, oh, I don't have to try out for cross country, because in high school, everyone's already played soccer for like 10 years of their life.
Yeah.
Who am I going to be? Like, let's be honest. So I was like, I'll join cross country. And I only really started liking it until I was like maybe a junior, but I kept doing it because I liked all the all the people in it because they were my friends. So yeah, I didn't start running until I was in high school. I didn't start doing any sport until I was in high school.
And like you said, how you're a music kid. I feel like in cross country, like in all the teams I've been on, like you meet some of the most like interesting and like cool people in all the sports, I feel like. And so, what would you say is like your interests and your hobbies outside of running are?
Ooh, do I even have any anymore? At this point, it's homework.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm kind of an outdoors kind of girl, so hiking, beach, those are usually my go-to if I even have time anymore. I grew up playing violin, so I played until I was a senior in high school. So at that point it was like not 15. What's 18 minus 5? 13. It was 13 years of my life that I was playing violin.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped when I got into college, but yeah. So I was a music kid. Still enjoy listening to music, although I don't make it anymore. But yeah, I like hiking, going to the beach. Cool. We all dive together too, so.
Yeah. So I get made fun of because I always have way too much going on. So when I'm not running around like a chicken with its head cut off, I am a classically trained piano player. I like to dive. I'm a certified free diver, scuba diver, love hiking, doing anything outside really. And I'm also a research technician at the Oceanic Institute. I love taking care of fish and researching them and learning how to raise them. So that's where my passion lies.
For me, I used to be in music too. I played the French horn, and then I stopped last year because did not like the orchestra.
Yeah.
In my spare time, I usually like to paint because I'm an artist. I also love to free dive. That's what I love to do. Yeah.
So do you guys ever go cliff jumping?
Used to do it more, but yes.
Yeah. So I think it was my second week here. Eli, our head of compliance, he took me to, I think it's Waimea Bay, and we got there and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna jump off that rock over there." And I've never jumped off of anything in my life, and so we were walking up to it. And how tall have you jumped off it? How tall would you say that is?
Depends on where you jump on the rock. We're probably about
the highest point.
35 feet, maybe.
Oh my! It was 35 feet.
I don't know.
He told me it was 20. And so I remember walking up to it and I was like, oh my gosh! And so I was climbing up, and I was like, if I go back down, there's no shame in that, But
there's shame in that.
Yeah. No, in my mind. But then I remember I was behind these two kids. They're probably like 8 years old, right?
They're the most hardcore.
Yeah.
They will cuss you out too on the rock.
Oh my gosh, no. So he probably saw that I was thinking of going back down. He's like, "Hey, it's bad luck if you go back down." I was like, "Oh my gosh." And so, I start climbing up higher and higher, and I get to the top. And I'm like, "Mark, I'm not sure if I can do this." And then that same 8-year-old just looks at me and just does a gainer off of it. I'm like, okay, if this 8-year-old can jump off a rock, I can do it. And I remember Eli was supposed to go up first, and I was like, Eli, I just need to go. And his girlfriend was supposed to record us, and his girlfriend didn't realize that I went above. So I jumped, I landed butt first. It hurt.
Oh.
Yeah, I swam out, and I'm like, did you get that? And she you went first? I didn't record it. And I was like, oh my gosh. But, it was a fun experience, but so diving, I've never done that in my life. But so where do you guys go to dive, and what is that like?
So for free diving, I think me and Angel can both agree our favorite spot is Electric Beach. So I grew up free diving in the Gulf of Mexico. It's a bit different here, a lot more fish, a lot more reef, but free diving, it's really beautiful because it's just you and the ocean. It's how long you can hold your breath, how deep you can go, and there's so much beauty down there to see. It's really I wouldn't say a spiritual experience, but it kind of connects with running, controlling your breathing, just feeling where your body is, and the control that you have over your body mentally is really cool.
For me, I think it's spiritual. Every time I go underwater, it's silent, and that's what I like. I like how quiet it is, and then just this, it is quiet, but for my mind is quiet, but you can hear the sound of water, and I just like the sound it makes. Recently, I think last Saturday I got to see a pod of dolphins of maybe 50 to 100 of them, and it was an amazing experience. I was like, man, I'm never gonna be able to do this again.
No, there's some things I hear that people see or experience on this island. You can only experience this in this part of the world, and I think it's just so cool. And I feel the biggest recruiting points hey, even if it's not the most ideal situation for X, Y, and Z, it's being able to be here for however many years you are. I think it's an experience that few people get to have. And so so what would you say is your favorite beach? Because I haven't gone through all the beaches yet, but what beach would you say for me to go this weekend?
I'm a big fan of Lanikai.
Lanikai's cool.
If you can find parking.
Yeah.
But
I work at Makapu'u, so I really like Makapu'u and Sandy's, if you haven't been there. They get kind of crowded on the weekends, but they're pretty fun.
Honestly, I don't really have a preference on the beach. I just love going to the beach.
All right, thank you so much. And then we'll be right back after a quick break. We'd like to thank Hula Grill taking a fiery sunset while savoring the vibrant flavors of the island. Welcome back to Sharks Weekly, sponsored by Aiea Bowl, Hawaii's only hybrid bowling center. Aiea Bowl, a new experience in entertainment. All right, we're back with the HPU Cross Country team, and the past couple of weeks, we got to learn from soccer, basketball, about their daily schedule. So I don't think a lot of people know like the daily life of a cross country athlete. So how would you say, let's say a workout day would be for you guys from start to finish?
So we have practice every morning at 6 a.m. at Ala Moana Beach Park. So it's very early. Some people come from Kailua or Kaneohe, so it's very early mornings for them. So we always get started, warm-ups, drills, and then get our run or workout in, and then try to leave as early as possible so that people can get to classes and stuff at 8:45. And then most of us just have class and work the rest of the day, and then try to get home before too late, get some sleep
go to
before
bed
doing it all again.
For me, I usually wake up at like 5:20 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
To get ready and get all my things situated, because I have to also go to work after school. So then after practice, I spend my day toughing it out through classes, and then I have to go to work at like 3, and then I don't get off until like 10 o'clock. So then when I get home, I have to do homework, and then I'm like a zombie the next day. It's just a cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing for me. I have class all day, and then I have weird, like, gaps, which, if you're listening, don't do that. Don't make that many gaps, because I have, like, until 11:45, then I have, like, a night class. If you don't need to take a night class, don't take it. Oh, my God, what a mistake. But, yeah, I would say I'm always in bed. If we have practice next morning, I'm in bed by, like, 9:30, 10.
Yeah, no, 6 a.m. That's something I do not miss about being cross country athlete, because I mean, as soon as I graduated, when I realized I could sleep past 6 a.m., that was one of the biggest blessings of my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But when I moved here, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get back on that morning grind. Like, I'm gonna wake up at 5:30. And I remember my first week here, like, probably because of the time zone difference, I'd wake up 5 in the morning and be like, oh, this is great. But then I'd say, like, last week I woke up at 5. I'm like, yeah, I forgot how much this is so tough. And so big props to you guys for being able to wake up.
Slept till 8 this morning. I was like, wow. Slept in this morning. It's so nice.
I don't know. I can't stop waking up at 5 in the morning. I still wake up at that time. It's just so, like, beaten into my brain. I just can't go to sleep or sleep past that time. Yeah,
well, yeah, I mean, it becomes a routine almost. And so, like, do you guys have any like pre-race routines that you guys do? For me, like, I'd always like wear the same socks like throughout the whole season. Like, if I get a different pair of socks, oh my gosh, it would be like I'm gonna do terrible. And so and that also, like, right before the finish line, I tie my shoes and then untie them and tie them again. I don't know why, but did you guys have any pre-race rituals you guys do?
So in high school, I started doing this, I think, my freshman year of high school. I listened to the same album before every single meet. Whether it's on the bus ride there or the night before or the morning of, I would listen to the same album every single time, and I've kept that up all throughout college.
What album was it?
It's called Never Give Up by the Postal Service.
Okay. My pre-race artist, like, I don't know, I never really like listening to, like, amped up music. I always, like, the only time I've ever listened to her was always before races. I always blasted Taylor Swift in my AirPods. Like, I don't know, it's just relaxing. It's like upbeat, so it's like, you still, like, that's not lethargic, but it keeps you in a good mood, and just like, I'm just trying to be, like, awake and not amped. But shout out to Taylor Swift for supporting my running career all those years. But yeah,
I completely agree with you on that. I don't really have like a pre-race thing. Like, for me, I like to have as much fun as possible before the race or the day before, so that way I'm not sitting there stressing and thinking about what's going to happen during that race. And then of race day, I like to listen to Lana Del Rey because of how soothing her music is, and so I do that. And then when I get to the line, I'm like, the nerves are all down. I'm not so nervous for the race.
Yeah.
I'm always nervous before the race. That's like, I always try to, like, make myself less nervous, because then your heart's beating fast, and then you're, like, screwed, if you're already out of breath. I don't know. I listen to Pitbull before I race.
I love some Pitbull.
Yeah, it really hypes you up. I will say one of the team rituals that we have is we always like have a breakdown before we. I mean, all teams do it, obviously, but we have a breakdown like "Go Sharks," you know. And it's like I think it helps to like, show other teams that you're there, and I don't know. It helps calm my nerves. Like, okay, it's gonna suck, but at least it's gonna suck together.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. Speaking of music, who would you say on the team has the best taste in music?
Ken wants to say
I'm
himself
not gonna
right
say
now.
myself, but I'm gonna say myself. I get compliments about my music taste all the time. I've been into the alternative indie music scene for years and years and gone to plenty of concerts, and so I like to drag people along with me. There's this one concert that comes sometimes called the Electric Feels Party, and it's like an indie alternative concert, and so we love going to that anytime that they're here.
Yeah, I completely agree with Kent. I think his music taste is immaculate. I have to thank him for getting me into the Wallows. That's my new favorite band now because of him.
I guess I have to agree. Kent is really the only one that shares his music taste. A lot of us are like Noah Kahan fans, so I don't know if you know who that is, but yeah, I guess Kent.
Okay, so you know, like I mean, I'm a big music guy, and so what would you say like is your guys' like go-to song when you guys are? Do you guys listen to music when you run?
I personally, it depends. It depends on the workout, what's going on. If I'm like doing a trail run, absolutely not.
Yeah.
If it's just like a regular easy run, absolutely not. But if it's like a 1 a.m. track workout, yes, I will need some Wolf Alice blaring in my ears to get me through that workout.
So, for my long runs, I love to listen to Nicki Minaj. The cadence of her songs, they're great. Like, my favorite one to listen to is Super Bass. I can sing every lyric of that song now.
I don't know. What do I not listen to when I run? I will listen to music on every run, which I don't know. Maybe that's not safe. But we don't listen to music when we practice. But I listen to Taylor Swift when I run. Yeah, something that'll keep my cadence up.
And then, yeah, like, last question. What would, like, you know, season's coming to an end, you know, we're heading into the winter semester, like, end of the fall semester. What would you guys say was your biggest takeaway, like the biggest lesson you learned from this past season with all the adversity you overcame, and then just, you know, new PRs, new, like, also, you know, adversity on and off the field? Like, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from this year?
I'd say as team captain, it was a very difficult time because we didn't have a head coach. So I sort of took up a lot of the slack, and so I learned that my way isn't always the best way, and so that learning other perspectives, seeing how other people see things, and knowing that I'm not always right, and that's okay. And so that was a big takeaway from this year.
I think maybe like it is the way it is, and complaining won't do anything. So yeah, because then at that point, if you're complaining all the time, then it's just annoying to other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so complain less, deal with it more, maybe.
I think overcoming a lot is being able to overcome a lot is my biggest takeaway from this. Like, because like we didn't have a head coach, so we had to like basically train ourselves. And where we did, like, are we training ourselves the right way? I don't know. So like, we did what we could. So
yeah. And I appreciate you all for hopping on the show. This is Sharks Weekly with HPU Cross Country. We'd like to thank all our listeners, and just tune in for next week. And thank you so much.